Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I nearly have condemn, but I don't. I think I am going to play a 5-letter word. Modem appeals. The Rackleave CN has some synergy, especially with a floating O on the board because of the con prefix. Now I'm wondering if commed is good, but I don't think it is. There may be a 6-letter play which is better, but if there is, it's only going to be slightly better. That looks reasonably promising. I don't think I have a 7-letter bingo, although it's a well-balanced track. It doesn't have an A or an E. But there's centroid. I have centroid and doctrine through the E of modem. Ah, both blocked. All those words are good. In fact, there are no floaters at all now, but there are several 2-letter combinations, but it's very hard to spot a 9-letter word through one of those. I may have a play from A8 down onto the UM as an 8-letter play, especially with an IUNM ending. Can't see one. Okay, there is the M, the first M of modem as a floater, but I can't see anything through that. So have I definitely not got a 7? Okay, I don't think I do. I would have inditor through an I. So, how to resolve this rack? Actually not too difficult. I can play conned across here. And the Rackleave of IRT is good. This scores 25 points, doesn't open up anything for my opponent. Ooh, pretty brutal. Kept IRT, picked up another R, another 2 I's and a G. That's slightly disappointing. RIT felt like a bingo-y Rackleave, and it was, but my hopes have been dashed. Now, it's maybe a time to change. Well, except I have, at the moment, I have Siri down from the C of con, CIRRI. 14 points, leaving a Rackleave of GIT. That's certainly better than changing. And there's not much else available on this board. Woeful doesn't take anything after it. I can't play over the top of Woeful because I don't have a letter to go in front of the L. I don't have anything which goes after Okay, my opponent's lost contact or quit. I'm going to pause until he returns. And he's returned after about 10 seconds. Now, although I have Siri, it's likely that my opponent will go in that spot because of the limited options elsewhere. 1 doesn't take anything in front of it. And if my opponent does take my Siri spot, I may well be changing. Odd only takes an S after it. Great. Well, great and ungreat, because Siri remains available, but my opponent has bingoed to take a substantial 55-point lead. Now, I'm wondering if I have a play in column 11 through the E of Estonia. in particular do I have a double-double. I've got the IER ending, but I can't see a double-double using that. I quite like the idea of leaving the floaters in Stonia available. I'm behind. I would like an open board. Siri doesn't block any of those floaters, and it adds an additional one. Now, am I missing anything significantly better? I can't see anything down from the O of Stonia onto the triple word square at 08. I don't have irrigate. One of my I's would need to be an A. Okay, I'm happy with that. Ooh, gosh. Okay, through an O I would have northing and throning. I don't think I have anything through the I of Siri. Now, what about the E of Stonia? Well, I can't see anything. But I should be able to resolve this rack. It's reasonably synergetic. I've got thing and night and nigh and ninth. So there's a lot of playable words, or a lot of words that I can make from the tiles on my rack. Now what about Righton? Is Righton good? I think it is, to make something right. So this is a double-double. Takes a B in front. Sorts out the duplicate N. It's going to score pretty well. 44 points, that's good. And now my opponent's play of left, all those words are good. Yep, that's fine. And this looks okay. I don't think I have a 7-letter bingo. The G and the U aren't great, but it looks pretty balanced as a rack. So what are the floaters? Not many. There's the R of Righton, which actually looks quite a good floater with this rack. Okay, I can't see anything through that. And Righton has taken out the I and the R as well as a floater in Stonia, so I don't have any other floaters to consider. But it is a balanced rack, so I will be able to resolve it. Now, I do have the C, which goes well with the H of Righton, so maybe I have a 6-letter play beginning at H10 across. Ooh, 74 points for my opponent. He's doing well. He's now established a 101-point lead. And no floaters, so that's a good play by him. Puts him in a strong position. Now, I was looking for a 6-letter play beginning at H10. But I'm not seeing it. I'd certainly like to play off the U and the G, because they're the non-bingo-y tiles. But how am I going to do that and score well? I'm already over 100 points behind. If I get a small score now, that could easily be 150 points behind. A8 is a possibility down to the R of Tawdria, and that would have the advantage of providing 3 more floaters. I'm not sure of Glua or Glower. I could play Goner, but then I'm retaining the U, and that's a real damper in terms of bingo prospects. Well, I could play Gull at D3 across. That does open up a bingo lane in Row C. I've got 14 minutes left. There are only 43 tiles left, so the game is going quite fast. I'm wondering if I have a 9-letter play through the A and the R in row L. Can't see that. I have glue on as a 5-letter play. Nowhere fabulous to play that. So this is what I was thinking of, playing gull across here. The rat cleave of cone is okay, slightly vulnerable to vowels, but con has synergy. LA does take an A in front of it, so it's not a great bingo lane that I'm opening up in row C, but there are a lot of A's left. And if I had played down from A8, it would have been pretty easy for my opponent to play parallel in column 7 or 9 and just kill off everything. Far harder to get rid of the bingo lane in row C that I've created. Only 14 points, that's dismal. Can I do any better? So I've got lounge plus a C. Lounge plus a C. Oh well, I cannot see the better play that may be there. Great, I draw the first blank and there's still another blank unseen. I'm only 80 points behind. This could be the start of a heroic comeback. Do I have a playable bingo? This board is very restricted. I have congest in row L making right-uns. That's good. Do I have a second playable bingo? What about the blank as an A so that I can play in row C? Okay, 50 points for my opponent, but on the plus side I can play congest. Cognate would be, and cognate and co-agent are with the A. Let me put congest down and then pause to see if either of those plays in row C. Cognate and co-agent. Okay, co-agent. No. Cognate. No. Okay, so congest it is. Unfortunately, congest doesn't open up any new bingo lanes, but row C is still available and there are a lot of A's in the bag. Can I be lucky? Well, yes and no. I do draw an A, but I have 2 V's to go with it, and that's not a bingo-y combination. I do have vulva as a 5-letter play, but I can't see anywhere to play that. I'm 56 points behind, but my opponent is on turn. So I'm pretty much am a bingo behind. I'm wondering if I can play down from A8. Well, I've got volar. It does retain a V, but I think I'm going to struggle to get rid of both V's. Vav is good, but I can't see anywhere great to play it. Vav and vulva are the 2 moves which stand out as being moves that get rid of both V's. The V isn't the worst tile in the world. Okay, my opponent is piling on the score for another big 50-plus score for him. The third on the row in a row. Tsar 52. So I'm 108 points behind. Vola and Valor. are playable from A8 down. 27 points. Burning off 5 tiles. The bad thing about burning the tiles is that it expedites the end of the game. The good thing is that it increases my chances of drawing the blank. And I probably do need to draw it to catch up, or be very lucky. So I'm going to play Volar rather than Valor. I think the O is a more useful floater than the A, given how many A's remain in the bag. Only 2 O's. 27 points. Rack Leave of RTV is okay, provided I draw vowels, and there's plenty of vowels left in the bag. Well, I nearly have Overtake, but I don't. Don't think I have a bingo through the O of Volar. Haifa, that's a nice play by my opponent. 60 points, that is huge. He is zooming away with this game. None of the 3 floaters he's provided helps me bingo. Now I could play Knave at L8 down, 21 points. Does provide additional floaters. But can I play off the K and the V? Something like Carver. Or exactly Carver. Not sure there's anywhere to play that. I know both B's are unseen for the Brighton's hook, but unfortunately that's not a bingo hook. Now, what about playing in row C? Well, I can play there. I can play Cara. 28 points. And that's retaining the V, which is not so good. I've got 8.5 minutes left on my clock. There's a lot of E's left. Now, Knave is the player that I was thinking of. I prefer this to Cara, even though Cara is 7 more points, because I think the K is a more bingo-y tile than the V. But am I missing somewhere to play off the K and the V? Well, I could play Carver at F1 across. 16 points, keeping ERT. But that provides a really easy opportunity for my opponent to have a big score in column 1. Well, this doesn't feel great. Knave, 21 points. Trait is good, and straight through an S. Don't think there's any other 7s apart from trait. There are no 7-letter bingo lanes on this board. 35 points for my opponent. He's slowing up slightly. Now, do I have an 8-letter bingo with these tiles? Quite a few floaters to consider. Nothing through the V, the O. Now what about the L? Can't see anything through the L. And then there's the P of Haifa, the H, the A, and then down to the V and E of Knave. Okay, now I don't have a bingo that I can see. Tile I need to play off is the K. Everything else is good. So what I'm looking to do is find a short word using the K which scores reasonably well. I'm wondering if I can play in column 7 beginning with the T of Stonia, placing the K on the double letter square at M7. So down here. And I don't think I do have such a word. I've got 5.5 minutes left and there are 16 tiles in the bag. So, what to do with my K? Well, there are quite a lot of floaters on the board, so it doesn't really matter if I take out one of them. I don't want to play a lot of tiles simply because this rack is so bingo-y. So, why don't I play Kex? Just wondering if I have a play from the A of Volar across to the K. Well, I don't. Okay, 14 points, but the rack leave is good. I have Dietary, but there are no 7-letter bingo lanes on this board. So, do I have an 8? The Y is not a particularly bingo-y tile. But it's possible that I do have something. Both these are available as floaters, so if I had a bingo through one of them, I'd probably have a playable bingo. Can't see a word through a V. Okay, this isn't looking good. We're looking at the H of, the second H of Haifa. It looks promising. I'm close to Hereditary, but that's a 9-letter word. Or even a 10. Hayride is good. 36 points for my opponent. I think I'm so far behind now I'm not going to win, so I'm going to take Hayride for the points. This should score over 40. 44 points. Yeah. And here come the vowels. I note that all three, sorry, not all three, but there are 3 S's unseen, plus a blank. And 4 E's. So in some ways that's quite bingo-y, but my opponent may well have a glut of E's or a glut of S's, which means he doesn't have a bingo. But he's almost certain to have 1 S, so we could well see Hayride pluralised. I'm certainly not in a position to respond with a big score. I've only got 1-point tiles and I've got 6 vowels. Maybe Hayride wasn't such a fabulous play. But 44 points was a lot, and it certainly hasn't impacted my winning chances because they were 0 before I played Hayride. What Hayride may have done, though, is negatively impact my losing spread. I'm currently 133 points behind. That's likely to get worse. Five tiles in the bag, 7 on my opponent's rack. I think I'm going to struggle to score very much at all with this rack. I'm sure I'll be able to play somewhere. My opponent's got over 10 minutes on his rack. On his clock, rather. I've got auto as a 4-letter word, but there are just so few opportunities to play that. Well, the Brighton's hook was not used, and the K has now obstructed that. The only word beginning KB is K-bar, plus it's plural. But there are not the right tiles for even that to go down. Well, my opponent is taking a while. He may well be looking for a bingo to go out. There are floaters on this board. Okay, only 23 points. One tile in the bag. Quite a bingo-y selection of letters left. So what shall I do? I'm wondering whether I should be stopping my opponent from bingoing. But I don't wish to spend a long time looking for his bingos. Although in a real game I would. Well, I could play UV, add N. 7 across. This doesn't score very much, but it stops my opponent from using the floating V and E of knave, or it certainly obstructs the E. It's only 9 points. Well, I suspect that other plays that are better don't score hugely more. I have taboo. Not sure I have anywhere to play it. No, I can't see anywhere where that goes. That's a shame. I have 3 minutes on my clock. My opponent's got 9. And he might have a bingo. Looking at the tiles on his rack, which you can see at the bottom of the screen, I think he may well have had a bingo through the V. And if he did have a bingo through the V, then UV was a good play. I have Taj at A2 down. Okay. My opponent has played easies for 20. Not a bingo. Do I have anywhere to go out? I've got just under 3 minutes. I can't see anything through the floaters provided by my opponent. Can't see anything through the B or the P or the A of Haifa. My opponent's just got an I left, so he will be able to go out for a small score in plenty of places. So I think O-bar down here may well be the best I can do. That's 23 points. Can't see anything better than that. So I play. Now my opponent can play Chi at B6 down for 11 points. And he does. So pass to end the game, and my opponent wins by 501 to 342, a comprehensive winning margin of 159 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, Condemned didn't play, but Commend did. Oh wow. Okay, that was a big miss. My opponent played Woeful, and Conned looks like it was best. Various bingos for my opponent. He played Stonia, and here Siri looks best. leapt for my opponent. And now Righton was the best play. My opponent played Tawdria, which looks good. And I did not have a bingo here. I could have played Hogan for 30 at h11, but the rack leave of CUL is awful. And I played Gull for 14. Okay, I suspect a number of the possibilities being suggested there were better than that. Okay, Congest was the bingo I spotted. Cartonage was playable at L1, so there was a bingo through the A and the R of Lepton Siri. Tsar for my opponent. Valor and Volar are the two, look like the two best plays. Haifa, nice spot by my opponent, an obscure word. Now this is where I played Knave at L8, I think. Yep. And I could have played Vara at C2. Yeah, I think Vara slightly better. Not much. No missed bingos here. L4 fake. Oh well, 21 points, that's not huge. This is where I played Kex, and I think Kex has merit because the rack leave is so good. But what I did was draw the Y. I played Hayride at h14, higher scoring play. Not necessarily the best play given how many S's were unseen. Now, did my opponent have a bingo here? No. Seni looks good. And this was the end of the game, so I think this was my last move, or last move but one. Taj for 20. Okay, and this is where I played UV to obstruct my opponent from bingoing. I've no idea if that was effective or not. My opponent did not have a bingo and had various 20-point plays, one of which was easies. And finally, Ober and Oboe at M13 look best. So, an awful start, missing commend, a common English word, on my first move. That does happen occasionally. One needs to just roll with it and move on, and perhaps try and think why you missed that move, but there's not always an explanation, and even if you come up with an explanation, it doesn't seem to stop you doing it again. But the idea is to try and reduce the number of occasions you make these howling misses. But I think the rest of the game was interesting. Some great plays by my opponent, and lots of, well, I think interesting racks to consider. So hopefully you enjoyed watching that and learned something from it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.